All right, we're finally rolling here. I'm checking my levels here. We're looking good. Okay.
Testing, take one.
It's always fun to be doing what I do, but today even more fun than normal. Here with Doug and Andy Nalle, and off in the background is Lee. Lee, how are you?
I'm good. It's Andrew Nalle.
Are you preferring I call it Andrew? Because they were saying Andy before.
My mom calls me Andy, but I'm Andrew.
Okay, let's start that again.
Sorry.
I can't work like this.
It's a wrap. Thanks,
Yeah,
Ray.
we're done. We're done. I'm going home.
Okay. Right there, yeah. I was
There you
like
go.
thinking that. Okay.
Andrew.
We can go with, most people call me Andrew nowadays.
Scoot in a little to your right. That's what we did last time. Because
I was like Andy all the way up to college.
We're killing you, Dad.
That was like,
But the family, your brother called you Andy.
yeah, my mom and my brother call me
I'm glad
Andy.
I'm rolling in all this because I'm going to use it all the time.
Make it fun.
I'm going to
Make
use
it
this
squirrely.
for sure. This is great. What I get to do is just absolutely fantastic and so much fun, but even more fun when I get to be with the Nalle family. I am with Doug, Andrew, and Lee here at the winery in Sonoma County. We're Healdsburg, right? Are we? Yeah.
Dry Creek Valley.
There we go. How we doing?
Great,
Never
yeah.
Lee, you
Great
can say
day.
hi. We don't see you. Go ahead and say hi.
Hi, everybody. So nice to talk.
And speaking of talk, it's been since, well, I know there was another one after 2009, but it's been a number of years since I've been up here. Happy to be here with one of our very first podcasts was Nalle. So Andrew is the son of Lee and Doug, and Lee and Doug are just sitting back and living a traveling, relaxing life, not working, not worrying, not doing a thing while Andrew's doing all the work, right?
Exactly.
Dream on, Ray.
You named it.
I'm not the one doing the dreaming, you are. So either way, thank you guys for being here today.
Yeah.
Of course,
our pleasure.
You would be here anyway because it is your winery. It's raining out, or it's been a little bit rainy, so we're indoors. We're in the actual cellar, which is, do you still have the grass, the growing roof?
Rosemary.
Rosemary.
300
There you go. Yeah,
on top.
that's amazing. Wow, after all these years. So what's new? Andrew, tell me. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been here. What's changed? What's going on?
We have a couple balls in the air, making about 8 different SKUs, focusing on Zinfandel still. We're known for Zinfandel, making it French oak, moderate alcohol, bright acidity, and age it for about 11 months to 18 months. Some I'm aging a little longer. We also make a little bit of Chardonnay, Pinot, estate cab. We get really frisky with a bunch of blends in there, where we got a ranch red, which is cab and Zin, and then a Pinot Noir blend with Zin also. So we keep it fresh.
Yeah,
And,
the menu is this long.
and we have a cellar door here, and we're open on 4 days a week now, and people can come in. We're right on the main drag in Dry Creek, so we love to see new people and people that have known us for 41 years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Wow, that's wild.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
41
we
years.
just did 41, 41st vintage.
It's 84 to 25, but maybe it's like 42 vintages.
It makes me tired just thinking about working that long or that hard.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
especially again,
yeah.
considering how easy the wine business is.
Takes a lot of beer to make good wine,
It
right?
does, yeah. Now you're talking about the Zinfandel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Zinfandel's kind of having its day right now a bit, isn't it?
Well, I think that Zin, Dry Creek Zin particularly, is just because it's not grown in too many places in the world, and it's so versatile, and I think the winemaker style or the house style can have an imprint on it, and you can have that acidity, or you can make it a little more rich and smooth, and we've got cool people around here experimenting, but also sticking to their style. So, and I think Zinfandel is not $100 a bottle, so it's like accessible for most people. And so, yeah, I would say Zin's going to keep going because it's been here 100 years, and it was the base blend of all the home winemaking. And during Prohibition, that's what kept it here, and it was good enough wine that's why the vines were still there. And then we had the white rosé. Deal in the 70s and the 80s, and then that kept it in there.
White
and then it went
Zinfandel?
to red Zinfandel, and so like Zin always is
Yeah.
very resilient variety.
That's well said. The good news is Zinfandel can make a wide range of wines. It's, to me, the only red grape that I'm aware of that you could actually do a total winemaker dinner from sparkling to dessert.
Oh, that's fun. I never even thought about
Pretty
that.
hard to do that with Cab or Pinot.
Very hard
or a
to
lot
do
of
with
other
Cab.
things. Yeah. But the bad news is consumers can get confused. Well, what is Zinfandel? There's so many different styles. And so finding the customer and explaining it to them and getting them to appreciate your style is always a challenge. It always has been. When I got into the Zin business, Zin was 13.5 alcohol, not over oaked or not heavily oaked. A lot of it was aged in redwood uprights. Okay. And then it morphed into American oak aging, and then French oak aging, and then late picking, and alcohol's going up. And you can't blame it. The consumer goes, well, what is Zinfandel? So we have to explain that. But once you do, and you get them to understand what you're trying to do, it makes it an advantage, actually, finally.
Andrew has taken over the winemaking from you, correct? Is that accurate to say that?
Yeah.
He's taken over?
Well, I manage the fermentations, and the beginning of the winemaking process is really key for me now, because that's the stuff that I've done a lot of my research on. Every time that the wine is about ready to be bottled, or before that, I'm going to taste off with my dad, because I feel like it's better to have two noses involved than one, and also get other people. That's also something you learn through more winemaking studies. It shouldn't be an arbitrary process completely, but there should be that you have the house style, and the gentleman who invented the Nalle recipe here to sign off on all the hard work that we do in the cellar, and going out and expressing our style to people, which is unique. So it's to make this style of Zinfandel is not for the faint of heart, and you got to really pay attention to details, and you got to be really quick on the trigger during harvest, and because you can get overripe flavors. We feel like if you just wait a few extra couple days, or now we have these really big heat spikes around harvest we have lately, so you have to make sure you anticipate or really watch the weather and get it before those 100-degree days.
Are you seeing a lot of changes in climate around here in terms of what you've seen in the past? Temperature, maybe just specific?
A lot. Well, then now that's a moving target.
Yeah.
Definitely nighttime temperatures have gone up.
Wow.
And so it's changed our the balance of the fruit coming in. The acidities are lower than they used to be at the same sugar. But you have to adjust, and so we're working in the vineyard to do that, and everybody's in the same situation.
Yeah.
So I don't really feel threatened by it. I think you just make the adjustment.
How many cases are you doing these days total? How many cases?
2,000.
Okay, so still
around
getting a
that.
really nice, respectable, small amount of wine. But you have distribution, as I recall, because I've seen your wine in stores.
Well,
We
there's
have
not much-
distribution.
There's not
Yeah.
much margin in going the three-tier system.
Right, I get that.
That's the reality of it these
Right.
days.
Is that kind of one of your greatest challenges these days in the business, is distribution?
Well, sales in general is a
Well, sales,
challenge.
yeah, okay.
Well, I would take that back too. I mean, sales is not when people come in and see what we're actually doing and talk to us. I feel like people really resonate with this down-home real winery.
Yeah, they love our
and
wines.
it's almost like a dive winery, as far as I just made that up on the spot. Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
Because I mean, we haven't changed too much since 1984, and people get to come in here and kind of step back into the 80s, and we have a nice reframed area in the back with the wrought iron for sitting out back there. But we don't really, they taste the wine and they like the style, then we're good. But if they would like to hear more of the history or how I make the wine, I go into that, and they're like, boom, they're into it. So, I mean, that's why we're still here on this main dry creek, and then that style, and people, there is a need for this style of Zin. I feel like elegant or refined or just down the middle, or obviously I don't want to pick it under ripe and have any green flavors,
Right.
and we're not going for something as ripe as possible. And so we think of this as a balanced, almost like a Bordeaux blend, but with a Zinfandel grapes, with a Petit Syrah and Carignan being the other field blending components. And so it can be a really, I want to say, world class at this point, just because we've been doing it for so long. And if you get the right old vineyard and you do all your fermentations to the T, you can create these magical flavors that people haven't tasted before in another wine, because Zin has that distinctive varietal characteristic, like where it tastes like Zinberry, that we made up that name too, which is boysenberry, strawberry, raspberry, and
Copyrighted.
blueberry all in there.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's all
Asterix.
melded in there. Yeah, and so the Zinberry people, it's a distinctive flavor that even Carol Meredith and Mike Gergich knew from Croatia. And,
Sure, yeah.
and so it stands out to people internationally as well. So, I mean, it depends on how deep the winemaker wants to go down that rabbit hole to express Zin's high-end premium style, which we're down for.
Wine, to a lot of people, is just a commodity. And our mission is to connect with the consumer and show them our reason for existence and our uniqueness in the wine we make. If you don't do that, you're in trouble. There's too much wine out there that is just a glass of wine. Once we find a customer that sees what we do, sees our uniqueness here and the grapes that we use, then we have pretty much a customer for life, and that's what we need to do. We do it.
You talk to all kinds of people, whether it be on the road, you meet them here in the tasting room, wherever it might be. I'm sure, and I know you've done more than your share of media, but what's the one question that you've never been asked that you would like to be asked?
Well, and is it wine oriented? Is it grape oriented?
Anything related to the winery. Grape, wine, whatever it might be.
But he has the answer. I already know what mine is.
Finally
Mine's
took me
easy.
this long.
Mine's easy.
Either one of you, whoever
See,
would like
did
to
I
go.
just forget what okay.
Okay, so I have mine, but nobody's ever come in and asked, do you want to have Steph Curry come in and play basketball here? Because we have the basketball hoop right here.
I noticed
so yeah,
it.
Steph
Yeah.
Curry, I know you like wine out there, so and I know you have your own brand, perhaps, if you want to ever shoot some hoops, because we also know somebody who might play golf with you, so, and that would be cool. So
That's taking the opportunity.
we love sports, so we love professional athletes and food and wine, of course. So.
Well, my answer is the same. Steph, don't bend it. It's not a breakaway.
No, say your mom wants you to say
Okay,
that.
my
and it's
mom-
Because we used to say he has a degree in philosophy, but he learned at the University of Doug, and so and he took a bunch of classes at
Doug
the
who?
JC and UC Davis, but he did this on his own, and it was and he did a bunch of research on a certain kind of yeast, which he's using in the winery.
Okay, since we're on this particular point, you got to tell us what we're talking about here, Andrew.
We're talking about getting with my awesome professor of viticulture and enology at Fresno State, now moved to Cal Poly, Dr. Miguel Pedroza, on the shoulders of him, teaching me the ins and outs of sensory evaluation and non-Saccharomyces yeast at Cal State Fresno. Learned so much in the short time there, and just completed that in May. And I got a lot of respect for especially the winemaker Michael Brockovich in the North Island in New Zealand. Did the groundbreaking work on the non-Saccharomyces, fermenting those, the sequential fermentation to give extra flavor to all wines. And so really proud to have gotten through that. And there's a really good program there, and there's so many good people doing research for the wine industry and for farming and for wine grape growing. And so it really gave me a lot of extra tailwind to sail me into the next 30 years and generation, because I did learn so much boots on the ground here at the University of Nalle. And so I had like 2 undergraduate degrees of philosophy in Nalle, and then going there really made me appreciate actually what we're doing even more. So
Congratulations.
That's why,
You're going to make everybody cry in the room now.
And so my mom told me to say that too. So
His graduation, his wife, 3 kids, we all went to his graduation. It was
my kids, go dogs. It's a beautiful situation down there. Graduation, they do it right. And
Not too many people get to say their kids got to see them graduate.
my kids got to see me graduate. Very good ag farming community, and lots of really driven kids going for it. And
Most importantly for our listeners who'd like to learn about Nalle. Now, you guys are you by appointment, or can people just come on up here to the winery? How's that work?
It's getting easier and easier now. 4 days a week, 12 to 4.
Wow.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 12 to 4. We're open right on the main drag of Dry Creek Road. Get off Highway 101, hang a left, and we're about 2 miles out. We're an hour and a half north of San Francisco.
And they can just walk in. They don't have to make an
They
appointment.
could just walk in.
That's
They could-
fabulous.
Yeah.
And for our listeners who'd like to learn about you online, what is your website, Doug?
The website is nallewinery.com. Is that what you're asking?
That's what I'm asking.
That's what we're asking.
That's how they should get a hold of us.
That's how they get a hold of you.
Just, nallewinery.com. Yes. Yeah.
Doug, Andrew, and Lee, this has been a really fun podcast. And it's fun having the disembodied voice of Lee in the background. Say goodbye,
Doug, do
Lee.
you want to stick your head in here? There?
Goodbye, everybody.
You can sneak
hug
your head.
my-
You can sneak
let me
out
hug
in.
my-
I don't know if you might be out of focus.
Okay.
Wait. Look at you.
Okay,
There
okay.
we go.
Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
for being
Maybe it's
here.
all right.
Thank
Yeah.
you for all
Thanks,
the great
Ray.
work you've done.